Denzel Beats. Denzel Beats.
Feel the power of you controlling your breathing right now, in this moment. Here, in the present, the greatest gift you have, that we have. That power, that determination that's in you, in everyone, it's the same power we use to control our minds, one thought at a time, one breath at a time. Here we are, another beautiful day in the gym of life. Life, the greatest teacher of all. And you get to learn from it every single day, every single moment. No matter how young you are, how old you are, no matter what you look like, how different you are, we are one. We are the same in one fundamental way. One truthful way. We were born to win, to be happy, to be as we were born. So let's see ourselves today. Determination, let's see ourselves determining to do our best on whatever exercises, stretches we do, the way we move our bodies today in this moment we have together. Do it to the best of our ability by simply being.
It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Up in my city,
off from my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. Room on lock, the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights, and everything goes. Nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel the good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. 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 Ooh, it's something magical. It's in the air, it's in my blood, it's rushing on. I don't need no reason, don't need control. I fly so high, no ceiling when I'm in my zone. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. Room on lock, the way we rock it, so don't stop, stop, stop. Under the lights and everything goes. Nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel the good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. Can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. Dance, dance, dance. Come on. Dance, dance, dance. Come on. I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel the good, good up on you, so just dance, dance, dance. All the things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. Ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing, dance. Come on. Dance, dance, dance. Come on. Dance, dance, dance. Come on.
Fint i forsøket på å hente opp, og her har vi denne fra Amal Pellegrino. Rett i nettet! Han er spektakulær og fornekter seg ikke.
Good morning, guys. If we continue with the computer metaphor, the computer programming metaphor, if we accept the idea that we are the programmers, that we're in charge of our lives, and that we can create any mindset we want, the next important, huge step is to understand that we can write the program. We can write the program as we imagine it to be. Whatever life we dream of, whatever we dream of becoming for ourselves, this is the greatest insight into being human. This is the greatest thing, our awareness, our ability to be aware of what we are right now, and then write a new program. It's the second creation of you, and that is your ability. You can do that. It takes hard work, but writing it down and then actually living by that each and every day will transform you. Have a great day, everyone.
I want you all to know up front that I am a parent of a 20-year-old daughter. And I have had the incredible blessing of studying a lot about parenting, and also through what will soon be the 10-year anniversary of Good Life Project, sitting down with many of the leading voices, from psychologists to researchers to social scientists in the domain of parenting. I'm somebody who's a perpetual student, and sort of hold myself in being always in a beginner's mindset. And I feel like I certainly know more than I did 20 years ago. But what I'm sure of is something that I tend to hold much more lightly. But what I did start to realize, which was fascinating, which I think also really broadens out this month's topic, is as I started writing down these things and really asking myself, what have I noticed and what's really important to me in this domain of parenting, I started writing out almost like a set of principles. And then, supporting ideas around it, and then stories around it. What I realized was that you can pretty much draw a straight line to so many of the ideas around parenting and leadership, which I was kind of fascinated to see, because fundamentally it's about, creating a relationship that is sacred, that is bounded, that is trusting, and then creating a sort of an ethos within that relationship. And so the context really expands beyond, I think, what we consider to be just always traditional parenting. That said, I'm going to draw a lot on my own experience, both as a former child, which I happen to be, and some might argue I still am at various moments throughout my day or week, and as a father, as a husband, and as somebody who has gone deep into a lot of different literature and research, and had an amazing opportunity to speak to a lot of leading voices. But I'm going to keep it pretty personal too, because I think that's the place I can speak most to from my heart. So what I would love to do is share just a number of sort of what I would call principles. And always remembering that I am a student along this journey with you. And when I think about my relationship with my own child, who's now an adult, I learn as much from her, and I will for every waking day of my life, as she does from me. And I'm grateful for that. If I hold myself open to the possibility of always being a student of who she is in the world, I will perpetually grow from that experience. And I think that is a beautiful thing to be able to step into. So let's start talking about some of these principles. So for me, I've studied human flourishing a lot. And I often reference one of the, I think it actually is the longest running ever study on human flourishing, which is the Grant Study, which tracked a series of people for, I believe it was about 80 years, and looked at literally every part of their life and said, if you could look at all these different metrics, from their behavior to their jobs, to their relationships, to their state of physical and mental well-being, and I examined what contributed to a life well lived. And the longest running curator of that study, George Vaillant, was once asked, if you could pull any single metric out from this and say that it was most determinative of a life well lived, what would it be? And his answer is love, full stop. So many things in my life come back to this notion of love. And I think in the context of parenting, that is really, it is the central thing for me, to let a child know that they are loved without condition is maybe the most powerful thing that I can do. I believe that I can do as a parent, to let them understand that there is nothing that you have to do. There is nothing that you have to say. There is no one that you need to be. There is no person that you need to become. There is nothing you have to accomplish in order for me to love you. Is about the most powerful thing that I could do as a parent. And that's probably, about the most core belief that I have around parenting, that there's no performance aspect that is required as a part of a condition of love. And the flip side is also true. And that is that there is no mistake. There's no stumble. There's no moment where you won't measure up to expectation. There's no thing that you could choose or do wrong that will, as a parent, make me stop loving you or make me love you less. I may not agree with you. I may not agree with your decision. I may not agree with your behavior, with your action at any given moment in time. And that disagreement may be strong. But to be able to convey simultaneously that we can disagree, but I will never stop loving you because of that. That you can stumble, but I will never stop loving you because of that. That you can make a mistake, maybe a large mistake, and I will never stop loving you because of that. And
Magic System, Red One, Shawty. Comme d'habitude, on est calé. Comme toujours, ça va aller. On te met l'ambiance à gogo. Tous ensemble, on fait le show.
On t'invite à la magie, y a pas de raccourci. Oublie tes soucis, c'est bien faire la folie.
On t'invite à la magie, y a pas de raccourci. Oublie tes soucis. Oh, 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 oh. C'est pas seulement pour les bobos. Nous on vient dans nos mambo. Mon ami, si tu as le niveau, rejoins-nous pour t'enjailler.
On t'invite à la magie, y a pas de raccourci. Oublie tes soucis, et viens faire la folie.
On t'invite à la magie, y a pas de raccourci. Oublie tes soucis. Oh, 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 oh. Ah ouais, Magic System.
Toujours nous.
Ah, ça change pas.
Ah ouais.
Ah, Shawty avec Red One. Est-ce que ça marche?
Ça va pas.
On vient du ghetto pour aller plus haut. Avec les magiciens, c'est le wedding, oh, oh, oh. On vient du ghetto pour aller plus haut. Avec les magiciens, oh, oh, oh.
Cheeky, cheeky! Oh! That is unbelievable! And who else? Alessandro Di.
Morning, guys. Today, Gary Vaynerchuk shares with us his 9th rule for success, and that is don't make excuses. And this is the one where we release ourselves from that victim mode mentality. And he goes on to tell us there's going to be problems. There's going to be political things that we can't control in life. There's going to be health challenges that come up. There's going to be all kinds of things we can't control. But the number one thing he found that helps him is that he accepts full responsibility and he doesn't make any excuses, no matter what. So whatever happens in his life, and he goes on to tell us that he just says that everything is his fault, because by doing that, he then empowers himself to take control of whatever he can change. So let's remember that. Let's learn from Gary Vaynerchuk. Let's catch ourselves from making excuses. It's very hard. We may be used to it, but if we commit to it, we can change ourselves. Have a great day, everyone.
It is true that negative thinking can be very addictive. From my point of view, it is not caused by the chemical that's generated in the brain, although I do not deny that the chemicals in the body very often reflect certain things that happen on the mental emotional level. But what comes first, the chicken or the egg? If you become very angry, of course there are certain chemicals that are released in the body, and if you become peaceful, then they go. The addiction is not in the chemical, I don't deny that there is a chemical component to emotional states, but it is the addiction to negative thinking. And the addiction to negative thinking is usually connected to the pain body, which is the emotional field that feels fed, fueled by the negative thinking.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because I need them. Because I don't always wake up and feel motivated to go take on the day. And the thing that saves me, that helps me every day, is being around people who are thinking bigger, who are changing the world, and it gives me a little more inspiration to go after my mission. And so I hope this video helps you go after yours today too. So today let's learn the secret blueprint that can shift your reality. Enjoy.
Meditation, the actual translation of the word meditation, means to become familiar with. So the first thing you have to do is you have to become conscious of your unconscious thoughts. You got to notice your automatic habits and behaviors. And you have to become aware of your emotions that keep you anchored to the past. And if you can become so conscious of the unconscious states of mind and body that they would never slip by your conscious awareness again, you're becoming familiar with the old self so you don't return. Then if you begin to think about new ways of being defined by a vision, plan your behaviors, review them in your mind. Now, if you keep doing that over and over again, nerve cells that fire together wire together. You begin to become familiar with a new state of mind. At the same time, if you can emotionally cultivate your inspiration, your joy, your enthusiasm ahead of the experience, by repeating that over and over again, cultivating that state, it's going to begin to become familiar to you. So then the process of change then requires unlearning and relearning, breaking the habit of the old self, reinventing a new self. Pruning synaptic connections, as we say in neuroscience, and sprouting new connections, unmemorizing emotions that are stored in the body. Then here's the key, reconditioning the body to a new mind and to a new emotion. It's literally moving from your past to your future. It's losing your mind and creating a new one. And so then when you begin to understand that in that process, it's going to feel a little bit unfamiliar, uncomfortable. And if you can relax into that, instead of going back to the past, continuously invest in your future, sooner or later, it'll begin to become easier and easier and easier. And all of a sudden, when you least expect it, something amazing is going to happen in your life. And when that event begins to occur, you're going to pay attention to what you did inside of you now to produce the effect outside of you. And that's called human empowerment. And there isn't a person in the world that's excluded from this equation.
Rule number 2 is create a vision board with John Assaraf.
A lot of people ask me if I still use a vision board like I showed in the smash hit movie The Secret? And the answer is I do, but it's slightly different than the one I used to have. I am sitting here in Port Andrax in Mallorca, Spain, and this is a little bit of what's been on my vision board in the last several years. If you take a look at this area, it's one of the most beautiful little paradise islands anywhere in the world, surrounded by the Mediterranean. Now, why am I showing you that? Well, this is my Exceptional Life Blueprint, and in this Exceptional Life Blueprint, I have pictures of let me just move the camera a little bit, my wife, my kids, my family, and I have pictures of things that I've already achieved, and, you know, homes that we've either owned, jets that we've flown, places that we've vacationed, you know, cars that either I want to have or I want to, or that I do have, and experiences that I want to enjoy. You know, we rented this in Maldives last year. We have a home in Colorado over here. This was in Bali. I'm sorry, in the South Pacific Islands of Bora Bora. We've rented yachts. We've been in the most beautiful places. Now, why am I sharing this with you? You think I'm trying to impress you? And the answer is I'm not trying to impress you. I want to just show you something. I want to impress upon you something. First, you have to get a vision of what it is you want to trade your life for. And it's not about the cars and the houses and the trips. Like, what do you want to have your life feel like? What do you want to achieve in your health, wealth, relationship, career, business, contribution, charity, etc.? The reason it's so critical to start off with a vision, even when you do not know how to achieve it, and you probably know this, I left high school at grade 11. I was voted most likely to fail. English and math, I failed in grade 7. I didn't think I was smart enough, good enough, worthy enough. But I had a guy by the name of Alan Brown, my first mentor when I was 19, that asked me, like, what do you want to trade your life for? What would you like your life to be like? And he dared me to dream. And at the time I said, well, I'd love a 4-bedroom house. I'd love to get a job that I'm making more than $1.65 an hour, which is what I was making in a shipping department of Philips Electronics. And I was doing a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been doing as a teenager. But he helped me create a vision first, even though it was a fantasy. It wasn't even a fantasy. It didn't even feel like it could be a fantasy because I didn't have any idea how to achieve it. And once I created my vision for health, wealth, relationships, career, business, fun, experiences, travel, etc., he said to me, what would you need to believe in order to achieve these things? And I said, well, I guess I would need to believe that I'm smart enough. He says, yes. He says, what else would you need to believe? I said, well, I guess I would need to believe that it's possible. He says, yes. He said, what else would you need to believe? I said, well, I guess I would need to believe that it's possible for me and that I'm worthy of it and that I deserve it. And I went on to list all of these beliefs. And he helped me with a few beliefs, like, I would need to believe and have the self-discipline. And then he went on to say, well, what would your identity need to be like? And I was like, identity? What do you mean? He says, well, everybody has character traits that they're abiding by right now. But in order to achieve, these big goals that you have, you'd have to have some new character traits. And he said things like self-confidence, things like certainty, things like feeling empowered, things like feeling you can overcome anything, things like knowing that you can learn anything to apply what is needed to achieve those goals. He says, in order to achieve the goals that you have, the vision that you wrote down on this, sheet of paper, which he gave me, you have to create the identity and the character traits to behave in those ways. You have to practice to make those permanent in your mind. So practice is what makes permanent. He says a lot of people are practicing the wrong things and they're making the wrong self-image permanent, the wrong identity permanent, the wrong beliefs permanent, the wrong habits permanent. He says in order to achieve any goal you want to achieve, you have to create the right patterns that drive the right behaviors that achieve the results you want.
Rule number 3 is develop an abundance mindset with Gabby Bernstein.
do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down and get into it. Take it to the left now and dip with it. Don't throw down, take a sip with it. Now lean back, put your hips in it. Let's have some fun. To the left now. To the right. Now take your left hand and put it on your side. Gon' roll your shoulders. Do the slip and slide. This next part's my favorite part, cause it's time to shine. Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down and get into it. Take it to the left now and dip with it. Don't throw down, take a sip with it. Now lean back, put your hips in it. It's simple, you can do it. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Now cool down, have a good time. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Do the butterfly, have a good time. Round, round, round and round you go. It's time to show out right now and take to the floor. Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down and get into it. Take it to the left now. Don't throw down, take a sip with it. Now lean back, put your hips in it. Take it down now, take it down now. Take it down now, take it down now. Bring it up now, bring it up now. Bring it up now, bring it up now. Take it down and crisscross. Bring it up now, crisscross. Do whatever you like right here. Just have fun. Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down and get into it. Take it to the left now and dip with it. Don't throw down, take a sip with it. Now lean back, put your hips in it. That was not so bad. That was not so bad, was it? That was not so bad. That was not so bad, was it? That was not so bad. That was not so bad, was it? That was not so bad. That was not so bad, was it? Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down and get into it. Take it to the left now and dip with it. Don't throw down, take a sip with it. Now lean back, put your hips in it. Yeah.
קרנקה אם הוא יכול עכשיו לקפוץ.
Good morning, guys. As we go on our path to infinite mind wealth development, we're going to come across many challenges. And I wanted to share with you some of the challenges I've come across. See, when I decided to start making some changes and really start working on becoming my greater self, there are things that are going to be challenged, including your current internal being. So there would be times when I would be making changes in my life, and naturally, at the current level I was at, I wasn't as secure within myself. And so I would be seeking more positive encouragement or validation from outside sources, including people and friends around me. And when I look back, I laugh at it now because I understand the struggle. There's a constant battle between what you want to become and what you currently are. And that's okay. It's okay to feel that struggle, but I've started to really relish the challenge of continuing to call upon my greater self. Have a great day, everyone. Good morning, guys. I want to share with you a story.
Please stop being overly obsessed with being happy. There is no need to be happy all the time. Please stop being overly obsessed with being positive. There is no need to be positive all the time. Please stop overly obsessed with this thing that I have to smile always. There is no need to smile all the time. Do you realize that this pressure to be positive and happy is making me negative and miserable? Do you realize that this pressure is toxic? When you have to be pressurized to be positive, that becomes toxic positivity. It's not positivity. Accept your emotions with full authenticity. When I feel low, it's alright to feel low as long as I don't feel low all the time in a chronic way. If I feel low and negative all the time, I need help. But if I feel low on a daily basis, someday somebody is going to say something, you look like a hawk. I'm going to say, smile, thank you sir for that compliment. I'm going to feel insulted. I'm going to feel like I'm rubbish. I'm going to feel like I'm a piece of trash that he's calling me a hawk. You know what I mean? So the first thing, guys, one very important principle, stop taking pressure.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because I need them. Because I don't always wake up and feel motivated to go take on the day. And the thing that saves me, that helps me every day, is being around people who are thinking bigger, who are changing the world, and it gives me a little more inspiration to go after my mission. And so I hope this video helps you go after yours today too. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Guru Gopal Das, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy.
I feel that this world is like a university. And you come to a university to get educated. You come to a university to enhance your know-how. You come to a university to learn. You come to a university to deepen your understanding about a subject. You come to a university to get a degree, to graduate and start something, right, in the outside world. To me, this world seems to be like a university. Right? It's all about learning. It's all about evolving. It's all about going through the process of enhancing my understanding and educating myself in life. Now, imagine a life where everything was fair. What's the learning? Imagine a life where everything goes exactly the way you want it. What the bloody hell am I learning? Right. Imagine a life where I get what I want, when I want, how I want. Where is my evolution? Do I even have an opportunity to work on myself and everything goes my way? When you go to the gym, you lift weights. You're lifting weights against gravity. Because you lift weights against gravity is when your muscles grow. Growth is a consequence of going against gravity. And going against gravity means suffering. Right? If I put a weight down, bloody hell, no problem. It's just going down. There's no pain in it. But if I have to pick up a dumbbell which is 25 kilos up like this, it's going anti-gravity. And anti-gravity means pain, but pain means growth. Right? Pain means growth. Now, some people will have to go through that pain, and because they're going through that pain just for the heck of going through it, there's no growth. Look at people going to the gym and just swinging without focusing on their muscle. There's no growth. They're just swinging. The muscle's not even lifting the weight. There's no mind-muscle connection, you know. But those who are not just going through it for the heck of it, they see the pain. They know that's anti-gravity. They know there are issues. They know their problems. They know their challenges. And when they consciously try to use it for their growth, that is when growth happens. No pain, no gain. There's no question of growth without pain. You go to university, it's a hell of a lot of pain. To go through thick, fat books, to write the assignments, to go through the vivas, to write your exams. You have to slog it out like hell if you want a degree from Ivy League university. Go to IIM Ahmedabad and ask any of the students. They're slogging it out. Right? It's painful. But that's the purpose. How do you grow? How do you evolve? How do you learn? How do you progress without having gone through that pain? So to me, you could just call it, this is a world of suffering, suffering, suffering. It's such a negative way of looking at it. And I'm not one of those. I hate looking at the world in a very pessimistic, negative way that, oh, there's so much pain, there's so much. There is pain, undoubtedly. Like you rightly said at the beginning of this question, nobody's life is perfect. And it can't be, right? We're not looking for perfection in our life. We're looking for genuineness and sincerity of commitment to our lives, right? Perfection nobody can have. But can we be sincere in our life? Yes. Perfect moments nobody can have. Happy moments can we have? Yes. A perfect relationship nobody can have. Happy relationship we can try to have. A perfect home nobody can have. A happy home we can try to have. You know? So I really don't think that, like I said, I don't look at this world just constantly saying it's pain, 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 pain. Oh God, sometimes spirituality and spiritual leaders just bombard people with this. Man, people are going through enough of that stuff. You don't need to tell them that. You need to direct that energy rightly to say, how do you utilize that pain to grow?
Rule number 2, acknowledge your emotions.
How do we maintain that state of happiness when I don't feel happy? How many of you have had this feeling and in the morning you're kind of okay and in the afternoon you hit rock bottom? Any of you had that feeling?
I thought it was just coffee, the
I mean, we go through such a range of emotions throughout the day, right? The first thing I want to say to all of you is, please stop being overly obsessed with being happy. There is no need to be happy all the time. Please stop being overly obsessed with being positive. There is no need to be positive all the time. Please stop overly obsessed with this thing that I have to smile always. There is no need to smile all the time. Do you realize that this pressure to be positive and happy is making me negative and miserable? Do you realize that this pressure is toxic? When you have to be pressurized to be positive, that becomes toxic positivity. It's not positivity. Accept your emotions with full authenticity. When I feel low, it's all right to feel low as long as I don't feel low all the time in a chronic way. If I feel low and negative all the time, I need help. But if I feel low on a daily basis, someday somebody is going to say something. Somebody comes and says, you look like a hog. I'm going to say, smile, thank you, sir, for that compliment. I'm going to feel insulted. I'm going to feel like I'm rubbish. I'm going to feel like I'm a piece of trash that he's calling me a hog. You know what I mean? So the first thing, guys, one very important principle, stop taking pressure.
Rule number 3, be of service to others.
So who is the real Gaur Gopal Das Ji? Right. For me, I've always identified with one thing in my life. And that one thing that I've identified with is being a servant.
A servant,
a das. Servant, a das.
Right.
That's what my name says, Gaur Gopal Das. To serve. To serve, to try and help, to add value, to try and see if I can make a tiny little difference in the lives of people. Because at the end of the day, what really matters is how do we touch a life? Achievements, accolades, popularity, fame, numbers will all be forgotten.
Right.
What will be remembered at the end of the day is how we deeply touched a heart.
Rule number 4, tap into your spirituality.
Spirituality is not about not feeling low. It's about how do you bounce back to your high? How quickly do you bounce back to your high? How happily do you bounce back to your high? How effectively do you bounce back to your high? That's spirituality. To say that you don't feel low is to say that you're a dead piece of wood. Right? And if a dead piece of wood doesn't feel low, well, you don't even really praise that dead piece of wood. You don't even admire, worship, or respect that dead piece of wood. Because if it doesn't feel low, what do you need to respect it for? You respect people when they go through a low phase because with their sheer grit, with their sheer fortitude, with their sheer strength, and with their sheer resolve, resilience, they've bounced back. That is spirituality, right? So I absolutely feel, I in fact tell the story of a very, very renowned spiritual saint in India. An entire tradition called the Pushti Marg is followed in India by his name, Shri Prad Vallabhacharya. And 2 men came to him, both seeking spiritual initiation, both seeking deep spiritual connection. both had lost their dear ones. In fact, both had lost their sons. And one of them was extremely stoic, like, no feeling of any, grief, just stoic. His face was like completely composed, peaceful. And then you had the other person who was like crying, yelling, extremely expressive about his grief and his emotions. You could say that he was going through a low phase in his life, having lost his son. So when both of them approached Sri Vallabhacharya, he said to the first one that, you're not qualified for spirituality. I'm sorry.
The one was stoic.
One was stoic. So you're not qualified for spiritual initiation. You please go. And the second person, he immediately gave shelter and said, you can come, I'll initiate you. So the first guy asked Vallabhacharya, he said, sir, my son is dead. And look at me, I'm kind of above those emotions. I'm above those emotions. I'm away from those emotions, away from those feelings. So don't you think I qualify for spiritual initiation all the more? Vallabhacharya said, you're like a dead stone. You have no feelings. You have no feelings, you have no emotions. And only a dead stone or a log of wood is like that. He's a human being. As a human being, he has his feelings of he has grief, he has emotions. And because he has feelings, now my job is to redirect and rechannel that energy into constructive spirituality. Spirituality is not about stoicness. Spirituality is about how do you channelize the energy that you're going through in a constructive purpose.
And even sad energy can be used.
200%. 200%. Because sad energy is what actually impels you to do something better. In fact, it's in moments of grief, it's in moments of those, when you really hit rock bottom, is when you start looking for meaning and purpose. Right? Man's search for meaning, Viktor Frankl, what is it? Right? The whole book is about this. It is in those moments in those concentration camps, going through so much, that he started looking for man's search for purpose, for meaning. In fact, we look for meaning, we look for purpose only when we hit rock bottom. Right? Don't they say that when you're very, very happy, you listen to the music of the song, and when you're very sad, you listen to the lyrics? When you're really elated, man, nobody listens to the lyrics.
Shooting a missile straight here.
So I so much feel that it's these moments, it's those low phases of our life that actually make us.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 5 is accept things as they are.
There are going to be things which you can't change, like
as we always begin, as everything begins. Through the power of our minds, controlling our breathing. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you're here, in this moment, in the present, using your gift, the greatest gift you have, the now. I love you. I love you because we are all one. We can all stay in the present and be our true presence. Be the human being we were all born to be. The way we did our best today, this gym period, is the way we can do our best in everything and anything, including remaining deeply grateful and loving and kind to each other, helping each other learn, grow, helping each other win together. There's no greater joy than that. There's no greater happiness than that. That's the ultimate truth. You can feel it right now. You were born to win, to be happy, to be peaceful, to simply be your true great self, to enjoy fully this moment right now. If you do that over